Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Coffee with the Pastor. I'm Pastor John Woodin, and this is a ministry of Hollywood Faith Christian Center in beautiful Hollywood, Florida. We welcome you this morning. Well, we live in a microwave society, unfortunately, with a God who moves in seasons. When is it spring? And I grew up in cold country up in the northeast of the United States. And, the calendar would say that it was spring. But we might have snow on the ground, and the only thing that you realize that it might be spring is sometimes the little crocuses would be poking their heads up and their beautiful little flowers in the middle of the snow. But is it spring? Well, the calendar says it's spring, but it's not spring yet, and it won't be spring until God said it is, until the season is ready for it. Isaiah 40 says he gives power to the weak, and to those he might have no might, he increases their strength. Even the youth shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. And they shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. 2 Chronicles 5, I love this story because 2 Chronicles 5, they are preparing the first temple. Solomon had built his temple, and now he's preparing to move the Ark of the Covenant from the tent of meeting into the most holy of holies in the temple. And the priests are bringing all the furnitures and the furnishings in, and it says that they bring the ark and they put the ark in its place. In other words, God has been established, that the presence manifested and looking in the presence of the ark is in place in the Holy of Holies, and now God is in the center of the plan. But there's still a process. There's the priests come, 120 priests. Now that's a significant number for those of you who follow these things. 120 priests, all in linen ephods. In other words, you couldn't tell the high priest from the lowest priest. And they came in and they began to play instruments and they began to sing. And it says that when they were all in one accord, and they were saying, "For he is good and his mercy endures forever," that the house of the Lord was filled with a cloud, so that the priests could not continue ministering because of the cloud, for the glory of the Lord filled the house of God. But there was a process, first of putting things in order, and then coming and worshiping. And now God comes in his manifest presence and fills the house of the Lord. But sometimes it requires us to be patient with the process. We don't know how long it took Solomon to build the temple. There are estimates, but we don't know. But when he began to break ground, when he began to build, and when he began to get the material, David had already brought all the materials to Jerusalem. So there's this process that had to be maintained. Jeremiah 18, it tells us, the word came to Jeremiah from the Lord saying, "Arise and go down to the potter's house, and there I will cause you to hear my words." And I went down to the potter's house, and there he was making something at the wheel. And the vessel that he made of clay was marred in the hand of the potter. So he made it again into another vessel as it seemed good to the potter to make. And the word of the Lord came to me and said, "O house of Israel, can I not do with you as the potter?" So he's asking for permission. Can I change you? And he's asking us today, he's asking you and me, can I change you? Can I put you on the wheel? And if I decide that you are a vase and now I want you to be a water pitcher, that if I smash it down and start over again, that you're okay with that process. You see, you have to be okay with the process. If you reject the process and say, "No, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to do that," then God's going to step back But I'm going to ask you today to commit and just say, look, God, I'm willing to let you do what it is that you have to do to get me to the place you need to get me to. I waited patiently for the Lord, Psalm 40 says, and he inclined to me and heard my cry. He also brought me up out of the horrible pit, out of the miry clay, and set my feet upon a rock, and established my steps. He has put a new song in my mouth. Praise to our God. Many will see it and fear and will trust in the Lord. God bless you guys. See you.